Hello, this is Vulturefire, and this is the first episode of a new series of Fresh Start. So this is going to be done the same way that I did my last one, which is to say that I'm starting with a completely fresh save. I will be using the cards that are unlocked by default, and I will be trying to get to a depth 3 win with each character. I am allowing myself to buy forge upgrades, use cards that I unlock through level up on characters, and so on. My only restriction is I can only use the cards unlocked by default, because this series is intended as a way to show players who are maybe struggling a bit some strategies that will work without relying on cards that may not be available to new players yet, due to the random nature of the unlocks. So, this is now on patch 5083, which is still a beta patch, so there may be some bugs here, but this is a fairly stable beta patch, which is why I'm okay with starting this series. So things that you see here should basically match the version that is on live, assuming that you are playing shortly after this patch dropped. Of course, if you're watching this, I'm recording this in December of 2021. If it has been more than 3 or 4 months since this release, there's a very good chance that there is a new patch with some number of changes. But overall concept should hold, I think. Alright, so let's go. This first video, I am just planning to get through the first Depth 1 and Depth 2 runs to unlock Depth 3. So this is our Depth 1 run. As we are playing as Rowden first, because that's just how the default run works. I keep expecting the spyglass upgrade to trip, but of course it doesn't because we don't have that yet. Alright, we're taking a bit of damage here, so that's fine. Nothing we can do about that. Slightly overkill, unfortunately. Okay, so changes that are happening in this patch, we have new starting decks, which means I now have access to Meditate in Rowden's starting deck. And Meditate means that we now have access to Adept. Adept is a bonus to the status applied by any card that applies status. This is a pretty nice thing to have available that previously just wasn't an option in the starting decks. And so now we do have that. Icy Chains is very good later on, once you have Rowden's level 4 passive, but it's much weaker right now. But I think it's still stronger than the other options, and it would give us the ability to throw out weak, so we'll take it. I would have taken a Lacerating Strike if it was offered, which is the other Thornberry card. We are once again in this awkward position of not finding our blocks or either of our freeze cards on turn 1. Which means that we just had no choice but to just eat some damage up front. We'll go ahead and freeze that one so that we can more easily finish it off. So we will weaken you so that you do less damage. And we didn't have to have the full damage there, so it was fine. And we'll just go ahead and do that hit. There's no point in not dealing that damage. And once again, we're just negating as much as we can. There we go. Yeah, I will take a Lacerating Strike. The Vulnerable will help us with killing enemies more quickly. We technically speaking didn't need to take these elite fights, but elite fights give us, I think, a little bit more HP or a little bit more XP, and of course XP is handy. Oh, but the XP we get from the first one is going to be fixed, just because of how this works out. We can do that, and then, yeah, we'll go ahead and freeze. Although that does mean that this we're not going to be able to get off. But we do still have that Vulnerable, giving us that extra damage, which is nice. Alright. We can do this into that. We could chill, but will only apply half because of a change in this patch where enemies that are frozen will now only take half as much damage. or it's not have as much rain, have as much frost, so that it's harder to chain freezes together. There we go. Swift Strike is very good. I kind of just want to have the Mind Seed, though, to have the growth. Who's our boss? Yeah, I'll take the Mind Seed. I will upgrade, I think, Magic Blast. I think just having that big chunk of damage is nice. Swamp. Okay. And we can freeze again. I think we may as well. Bonk and bonk. Easy kills. I don't think we need that. Chilling Focus is a card that I normally would love to have a lot of, but I think I'm actually going to take the Flaming Strike because it should help us against the Thornberry Chieftain specifically. Purity is always nice. I don't love the Pierces here. I think that getting those freezes out is a little bit tricky for us right now. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, we can't line up both of these things, which is a little unfortunate. I'm just going to go with the damage. The shield to block. We are going to explode here, but that's not going to hurt us too bad. And we once again get to just shield off the purity to avoid losing our buff stacks. And we can freeze, which will let us get a lot of damage out. And yeah, these first few runs, it is largely just a matter of getting damage out, and we don't really have the ability to put together particularly powerful engines right now. The big thing is we lack card draw, so we are just having to satisfy ourselves with doing damage. I'm going to take the Magic Cannon. I think Magic Cannon is very good. It gives us mighty, it gives us some card draw. Happily upgrade it. I still think the Pierce is pretty underwhelming, although it is one of our damage sources. But I still think that it is, of our damage sources, the weakest. Just because of how inconsistently we're able to trigger the second half of it. Alright, let's work on killing you. I'll go and freeze you, so we don't get shocked. Oh, we wouldn't have gotten shocked because we have the purity, but either way. Okay, so I'm going to apply that. And then, bonk. Yeah, Magic Cannon does quite a lot of damage. Conductive Bolt is also a lot of damage. Icy Concentration is more mana, which is always good. It's just mostly a question of whether I would rather have the extra damage or the extra mana. What are our other fights? Our other fight is that, which we wanted either of the cards from it. I'll just take the I'll take the Conductive Bolt, I think. And the question is, does that let me remove the Flaming Strike? I think it does. Like, said I was taking Flaming Strike to deal with the summons, but I think that it is low enough damage, and we have enough other high damage stuff that I'm fine with not having it. And really, there's no reason that I need to stress too much, because this is still Area 1. Freeze you, so you're not making our day worse. And bonk. Okay. Yeah, this is a little bit awkward that this 14 just lines up kind of poorly against the amounts of damage that we can do. I think we will go ahead and start working on you, because you tend to be the most annoying of them. Alright. Goodbye. And goodbye. Alright, contemplates card draw. Just kind of really wanted some card draw. We get to rest. We'll just take the extra max mana, I think. And then we will go into this final fight of the run. So ideally we would get this freeze off here. Let's see if we can do it. That's going to be a no. Which is unfortunate, because if we could have prevented these summons from happening, we would have been very happy. But we still get to do quite a lot of damage here. Yeah, we're going to be able to get that kill. Yeah, I will happily eat some damage in exchange for killing off the boss. Because that means that now we only have to deal with these little ones, and they are just not that big of a threat. That one's just dead. Yeah, we're taking 1 damage for each time we hit the enemy this turn, but that's nothing. And there we go. That is our depth 1 win. Which we do have to do a depth 1 win with each character. That's just a fixed thing. So yeah, we can use these cards. We can't use the ether to unlock stuff, because that's just the restriction I've set myself. The other note is that this is on PC, which means that I am getting PC level rewards, which are going to be slightly higher than what you get on you're going to get on mobile. Because on PC, it's you pay upfront to buy the game, and it doesn't have free-to-play mode. All right, so quests are useless to us because we don't have the ability to unlock cards. As far as upgrades go, I think lightweight materials is very good. I think this is the most important, but I don't hate having lightweight materials. There's a chance it ends up coming in handy. Regen Harness is also a very, very good upgrade. The market is very low, is a very unlikely purchase for us, partially because ideally we're not going to be doing that many runs. I'm just clicking through all this tutorial stuff. Ideally we're not going to be doing that many runs with each character, and we're going to need to spend a lot of money on just buying new characters. So it's possible we just won't have any money to spare. So we can now build our deck. Step 1, we're just going to remove everything. We want Chilling Focus. Chilling Focus is just good. I think we want 1 Predict. I think we want a Focus and a Mana Shield. We definitely want to Meditate and a Hobble. So Hobble, you're going to see me use a lot. Hobble applies weak to all enemies. That is incredibly useful for ensuring that we just don't have to deal with taking incoming damage. Beyond that, Shield Stratagem is a new card that allows us to get tough in our starting deck, which is very valuable. And then we need ways to do damage. Drain Life got buffed slightly. It used to be 15 and heal 4, I think, and it is now 16 heal 6, which is very, very good. We will take one of those. We will take an Ice Blast. We will take an Infuse. And we will take, I think just a Magic Blast for the last card. Okay. It's a decent mix of cards. It's possible that the Mana Shield would be better off being a different card. Maybe either a second Focus or a Siphon card, but... The other thing is, if it's a Predict, that means that we will get to 6 growth on our first loop through the deck. Predict becomes a lot less valuable on Rauden once you hit level, level 4. Because at that point, you're able to generate a lot of growth just by triggering statuses. But we aren't level 4 yet, so. And we can't afford to unlock any of the... I suppose we could spend Ether on card backs, because we can't spend it on anything else. So we're buying card backs. This is very irresponsible. Don't do that if you're playing for real. So yeah, depth 2. We can't do depth 3 yet, but here we go. Alright, so our boss here is Lore Blossom, which has a couple cards that we would be happy to have. I usually will prioritize taking events, and elites are my 2 priorities. So here we can go 3 events and then 2 elites. And Shocking Grasp is a particularly valuable card. So, and that's one of the things that the Shock Elementals drop. So you see here weak. Now they're only dealing 6 damage. I should have just played both of these. That's fine. predict. This is a little bit awkward. We're going to be a tiny amount of damage short. I think we still want to do that. But yeah, now we have 6 growth, which means that this turn we're going to get a total of 7 mana. 2 by default, 2 from Rowden's level 1, 2 from mana boost, and 1 from growth. Right, yep, we're taking a little bit of damage because I didn't play a shield stratagem. And okay, I like having Brainstorm. I also don't hate Mind Shield, but I really like Brainstorm. So passively walk through. Nope. Okay, we do have to do this fight. That's unfortunate. We do get to do this. We hope we don't get credit. We did, but we only took 6 because it's only plus 50% damage, so that's fine. We can get tough and up measure shield. Let's see. We are going to freeze you, which also means we get 15 damage off of that. Because you get extra damage when you are doing arcane detonations to things that are shocked or frozen. Right. And we are still tough, which means this will deal damage and not generate shield. Which is fine, I think. We want to do the smallest amount of damage to it, but there's no way for us to do that because we want to hit 0 for focus. We're going to just start with that, and then that. And we end up taking a tiny amount of damage from that poison. And pop it. Okay, toxic spores I don't love. I don't love any of these actually. Are there reasons to take toxic spores? The lore blossoms don't apply purity on this depth, but it is an AoE, even if it's a fairly questionable. We'll take the toxic spores and probably just cut it. Alright. So that event, the reason I took the middle option is because it has the chance of giving us this free upgrade. And free upgrades are good. That upgrade's pretty good. Predict Plus is pretty good now. You get +1 mana up front, you get mana boost 2, and you get growth 4. Brainstorm Plus is also incredibly good though. I'm just gonna go with Brainstorm Plus. Okay, so this one, you can see down here, we have the black shadowy evil things on the right side, so we're gonna go left. And we just get energy, which is gonna get us, sure, 20% critical chance, which is a nice bonus. Okay, let's start by drawing cards and see what we have. Okay. So, one of our questions here is, do we think Toxic Spores is going to be relevant this fight? Because if it is, then we need to play it now. But if it's not, then we don't want to play it at all. But I think we do. And then I think we will just do damage. We are now doomed. So we now really want to finish this fight before the doom becomes relevant. So we want to get tough set up, because it tends to be pretty good. And we'll go ahead and freeze to avoid those buffs coming out. Which specifically the buff was Adept, which can be kind of annoying. Draw some cards. We are committed to playing this Toxic Spores at this point, I think. I do like playing this weak though, and I do like just bonking for 14. Oh, interesting, that damage number, I don't think updated properly. Alright, let's just get some damage out. We take no damage. We are going to explode here for quite a bit of damage, which is unfortunate, unless we can freeze, but we can freeze, so we're going to freeze. Get Adept. Detonate for 15, and then just extra damage. Alright, get Toxic Spores coming out again. Bonk for damage. Get some shields. Get some weak. Yeah. Okay, yeah, the damage number definitely isn't updating properly, because we only took 4 there, which seems pretty good for us. And that we've applied a lot of poison, and I think this shouldn't be enough shield to stop the poison from killing. It was not. That's a win. Arcane Flow we can use. Magic Cannon, though, is still very good. So the reason we can use Arcane Flow now is that we do now have the ability to trip Arcane. So this Arcane weakness is now useful to us. The question is just whether we like that more than Magic Cannon. This is a little bit cheaper. It lets us show off the Arcane weakness. I don't think I want to upgrade it, though. I do think I do want to upgrade the Toxic Spores if I'm keeping it. So at this point, it's a question of, do I want to spend the upgrade here, or do I want to cut it? And I think the answer is I want to cut the Toxic Spores. I think that it scales up too slowly, and I don't think we can loop to it fast enough. I think the Magic Blast Plus is still a very good upgrade. I think having that extra damage is going to help us a lot. And we're going to go fight these guys. Alright, so setting up tough is pretty good. And also setting up weak tends to be pretty good. But I also kind of just want to bonk this back one to death pretty quick. Yeah, exactly enough damage. They are now going to be shocked, which is going to hurt. Yeah, it's going to hurt quite a lot. So, ideally... well, this is where we would get the kill, but unfortunately, we did not. So we're just going to take a bunch of damage. We do just need mana at this point. I will take the Icy Concentration. That's very good. Tormenting Gloves is amazing. Okay. Tormenting Gloves is one of the most powerful things we could have gotten. So you can see that now the Chilling Focus applied 4 Frost, which is quite a lot. And this will now apply 15 Arcane, which means that we definitely don't need to upgrade it. Gonna work on killing that back one. Alright, I forgot the other part of it, which is that, alright, we're gonna freeze here. We're gonna apply weak, and we're gonna freeze. So the other part of it is that we get mana, 1 mana back every time we trip a status effect. Which means, if I do this, oh, we're at 6 mana. And I can actually get this freeze here. And there we go. Shocking Grasp, great. That's exactly what I wanted to see. I don't really have anything I want to cut. So we are moving on. It's technically usually correct to cut aggressively, but I am lazy, so I tend to not to cut as much as I should. We will start by seeing what cards we have. Alright, this will... I'd like to have Adept, but I don't, so let's do that. Which means that is going to do good work. Let's play this so that we can focus. And we can pop you for a bunch of damage. Rude. Okay. Shield. Pop you for less damage. Pop you for more damage. And into the turn. That's going to be not quite enough damage. We do want to pop you... I say that. That's exactly enough damage. And we can pop you with that, which means this will trip the Arcane Detonation, or the Arcane Weakness, which meant that it did extra damage and took away both stacks of Powerful that were picked up from the Lore Blossom. There we go. Yeah, Tormenting Gloves is just doing incredible work for us. Both halves of it are good. Corrupted Blast isn't bad. And I don't think we should need to rest going into this. This fight can be painful, but I don't think it's too bad. So, one of the big things to make this fight painful is they do start with a whole lot of stacks of Death Spores, which means that when they die, they make all the others stronger. And they make each other stronger by a pretty significant margin. Let's go ahead and get this freeze. So we'll turn that on. Now we can play one of these two, but not both. I think, we eat an arcane detonation if I do this. But it means that we get to do just so much damage. I think that's worth it. Oop. Okay, so the back ones are still interested in arcane detonating us, so... Let's get tough. I really want to kill these guys. But I also really want to be able to... Do I get 2 kills? I think it's probably worth it. Although it will put a bunch of powerful stacks on the back ones, and we will explode a couple times. I think it's still worthwhile. Because otherwise they're shielding. Oh, okay, yeah, because this vulnerable is actually coming in handy. And we are going to lose. Okay, so we only detonated once because we were able to stay tough. 34 damage. We are no longer weak. They are probably going to get aggressive here. Okay, not too aggressive. I believe this will kill the... So what we're working with in terms of cards. I do like playing weak. I do like the idea of turbo detonating the back one. Let's do that, and then this will, yeah, ensure that we don't take too much damage from this hit. And now we just need a relatively small amount of damage to finish off this kill. Here we go. Mana Eruption is very good, but I also really like the idea of having Curse of the Forest available to us. I don't know, these are both very, very good. I'll take Curse for now. Having the ability to cleanse ourselves is nice. And I think the upgrade has to be one of our mana cards. It's just a matter of which one. I think it is probably the Predict. And then I still don't have anything that I really want to remove, so we're just moving on. Okay, so we're fighting Emerald Dragon. Emerald Dragon is less of a pain than it used to be. It is slightly nerfed, and Curse of the Forest is going to do amazing work against... I don't hate... I really like fighting this and then taking Chimera form. Then we're going to start here. See what we can get. And... I think we do this. And we explode very slightly. Okay, they're doing something different this one. Oh, I should have upgraded the Shocking Grasp. That's usually one of my top upgrade picks. I just wasn't thinking. Okay. So one nice thing here is that we got back 3 mana for playing that. Thanks to Tormenting Gloves. Mystic Ritual is very, very good. And I do really want the Icy Concentration as well. Let me think. I think the Mystic Ritual is worth it. I think it is good enough to justify. And I think we are going here. It is a riskier card in this specific fight, but we can apply weak, and then we can tag you quite a lot of damage. Okay, so we can't afford to play that this turn because we just played that. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to do that, and then this is just going to kill. Goodbye. I think this will also kill. Yeah, exactly enough damage. Alright, this isn't really what we're looking for. I think we're just going to take the mana here. I would love to have a Spirit Swarm, but the mana is slightly more important. And then here we go for these. Okay, so I do want to play this, which is not going to be as many explosions as I would like, but it won't be a small number. And this should kill you outright. Yeah, which means that the back one will now have one fewer friends to get Pack Tactics buffs from. Yeah, we'll draw a card. Right, we have Fatigue. Fatigue is also new from... It's not new this patch, but it is new from since the last time when I made one of these videos. About a week before I did this. Oh, I should have done this first. I don't really want to spend shock stacks on that. Although I suppose that if we're going to crit, sure. So now we're going to blow. We're going to start by doing that. And I think we're just going to blow you up. Boom, and boom, and boom, and boom. Go ahead and get our health back. Now we just have to find damage. There we go. Bonk. Alright, Hunting Trance is great. This is okay, but I think it's worse than both the things we have. Well, yeah, I think it's a little bit worse than the other thing. And I think we're just good to keep moving. I think I like all of the cards that we have. So Hunting Trance is going to ensure that we can win against Emerald Dragon, because Emerald Dragon tends to not be a huge fan of trying to deal with that nonsense. It is less good in this fight. Let's go ahead and see. Is that going to be? That's not going to be lethal. So we're just going to freeze you. I'm used to the attack pattern on a lower difficulty. Or on a higher difficulty. I'm used to the attack pattern that they have on depth 3, which is different. You can do that to get tough and blow you up. And afford to draw a card. Do some damage. Apply some vulnerability. I'm doing this in the wrong order. It's fine. Whomp. And we can apply weak. So we don't take any damage even. Goodbye. I didn't even think to look if I had the heal card in my hand. More mana or more card draw. Tough choice. This is also not the worst, but it's also not amazing. Actually, this is kind of the worst. I don't like it at all. I changed my mind. I think we take the, mana or draw. How are we doing on mana? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana cards out of 21. Yeah, that's almost where I'd like to be. I don't hate cutting the, at that point, I don't hate cutting the unupgraded predict. And then the card we're taking here is the Chimera form, and we will reroll to get it if we don't. Just automatically get it. I'm not even going to bother Mystic Ritualing, because I really want to just do that. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean we are taking a bunch of damage next time we get hit, but that will help us avoid getting hit at least once. this awkward position where I want to play this, but I'm not going to be able to. That seems like a pretty good time. And that seems like a pretty good time. Alright, so we're probably going to take 8 damage here, which is completely reasonable. We are totally fine with taking that much. And then bonk, bonk, bonk. Yeah, totally fine. We are no longer shocked. We're going to meditate to get Adept set up. And we can detonate once. Will give us enough mana to get both of these out. We're no longer vulnerable. And we can blow you up. Goodbye. Alright. And now, yeah, I'm going to reroll take Chimera form, which is going to give us a consistent source of tough. This is absolutely better than that, though. And then we'll upgrade... Hunting Trance Plus could be very useful against Emerald Dragon, but I think Shocking Grasp is the one we want to upgrade. Actually, no. Arcane Flow, I think, now that we have other stuff going for us. The Shield Stratagem is now quite a bit worse, because it will never... It's much less likely to give us tough. But I'm not sure that I want to cut it since it's our only shield generation. And I don't know that we're going to end up getting other shield generation. So I think we're going to just move. Okay, this will help a bit. We can defend the eggs. Okay, we aren't going to be able to get the item, unfortunately, because we didn't have the... we didn't meet the condition. And we're going to take a pretty good amount of damage here, because we are ambushed. Yeah, okay, that was a mistake. The taking this particular mission. But you can see here what I meant about, like, we just get so much frost out, because our, we're getting 8 frost from Chilling Focus, which is a pretty good amount. This gonna be lethal? Yes. And we can draw some cards. Heal back some of that damage we took. Cool. That is kind of the card I was hoping to see. And that also helps. Yeah. So now, though, that we have Tough plus Weak that we can set up, we are in much better shape. And so, yeah, this is the difference in how this fight goes, depending on what our opening hand looks like. Top you. Draw cards. I should have played that first. It's fine. There's mana left in the deck, right? Yeah, not a ton, but it'd be very, very good if we could draw yeah, this. Because now, these both generate 5 mana each. We have all the mana we could ever want. Unfortunately, the Drain Life is one of the last cards in the deck. We're not going to have it. And set you up to die to the Drain Life next turn, so that we can heal. Alright, Cornered Focus. Sure, mana's good. Take this fight. I probably shouldn't have. This fight can be a risky fight. Basically, the only way we lose is if this fight goes poorly, so taking it was a bad idea. But fortunately, we got kind of lucky on that opening draw, that we did find both of our thingamajigs. Okay. That's going to do 18, which is not enough to double explode. So basically I'm deciding, I think I do need to just kill you. Even though it means opening myself up to damage here. Yeah. Get damage out. Should have done that first. And I think just killing you makes sense. I just do not want to deal with that jerk. And this guy doesn't attack that much, which means we should. These evasion stacks should get us through the rest of the fight, which is fine. Let's do that. Whomp. It's a little bit awkward that that actually did that, because it means that we gained 1 mana, which in turn screwed with our ability to trip trip focus. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, we took more damage there because of just that kind of awkward opening. Another chilling focus is great to see. As far as upgrades go, Hunting Trance upgrade I think makes sense. Shocking Chimera Form upgrade also makes sense. Just more tough is good. And we're gonna upgrade this. And I think we're going to gain rest energy. That's gonna be nice. Get a temporary buff. Going in with Mighty is nice. And again, like, I'm just not removing cards because I'm lazy. I probably should. So this fight can be a major pain. This is a lot easier on this version than it was on the past version. But even with that said, I know that there are a lot of people who struggle with it. So I'm going to say I don't think I want to use arcane detonations yet, because I want to be able to detonate off the plated, which is not going to be possible without if I let it stack too high. Alright, so there's more tough. And I could draw cards, but I'm already fatigued, so I think I'm just going to do this. Actually, I do kind of want to draw cards because I do want to draw around to a couple things. That's very nice. Although I shouldn't have played it because I didn't need it here. Yeah, don't really get much out of this turn. Alright, and now it's time for the buffs to come up. Bonk. Just kidding, we're just not going to let it buff. Okay, so we're now taking a lot of damage, or we would be if we wanted to take it, but I don't think we do. I think we are cool with exploding ourselves to draw this many cards. Pop, it's fine. So we now have an evasion stack. Here, adepts. And yep, we have everything in place to do this, which will do quite a lot of damage. Draw some cards. And yeah, just evade. Oh, this guy applies overcharge on this difficulty? That's rude. I don't realize that. Alright. There's that. Depth 3 unlocked. And level 3 unlocked. So next video, I will be... Let's see, before I go to next video though, I think I will buy... Man, this is a tough choice because both of these are very valuable. I think having that is the most valuable. Having an extra item choice because it's just a better chance of finding the very good items. Oh man, we completed that quest. So yeah, next video I will be starting the first Rowden Depth 3 attempt. And the way this is going to work, I am going to attempt a Depth 3 run on Rowden, and if that fails, or I mean, regardless of whether it fails or succeeds, the next one will be a Depth 1 on Merle, and then a Depth 3 attempt on Merle. And then I basically just, if I fail a run on a character, I alternate between characters that I do Depth 3 runs on. But, yeah, that will be next time. That's it for this time. Thanks for watching. See you later. Toodles.